Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another Shop My Stash video. I do film Shop My Stashes every other week here on my channel, so the products that are currently within my makeup storage have been in rotation for a minimum of 2 weeks. So today we're going to go through all of the products that I was focused on the last rotation, and then we will be shopping my stash to pick out new products for this new rotation. So if you like Shop My Stash videos, then stay tuned. First, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave today. I do post a minimum of 4 times a week, so if that's something that interests you and you like Shop My Stash videos, then don't forget to subscribe before moving on. And other than that, let's just jump into the video. Okay, so as always, we're going to start over here in this makeup organizer. I do feel like right now I just have so many foundations and primers that are going in projects, so forgive me, a lot of this stuff is just going to stay in rotation. Everything on the top, primer, strobe cream, foundation, is currently going in a project, so that will stay. So then we open up my first very full drawer, and we have the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which is going in my Partners in Cream project. I am really hopeful that I can finish this off the next month and hopefully move a primer out of my collection. This First Aid Beauty Primer is actually not going in a project. I had selected this because I wanted to have an option for a primer that I really liked to give myself a break from some of my project pan primers. However, as you'll see in just a minute, I was testing out a different primer, so I really only got to reach for this one time, so I am going to keep this one in rotation. The Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer I had pulled into my Shop My Stash, and then it actually also got randomly selected for my whole collection project pan, so this will stay as well. My Flower Beauty Primer is going in my Graveyard project pan, so this is going to stay. And then the last primer I have in here is from Clarins. They actually sent this over through Octoly, so this was gifted to me in exchange for an honest review. This is their SOS primer, and they actually have quite a few different options. They have a couple of color correcting. It's like a color correcting line, but then they also had this one, which is a brightening primer. So I went with the brightening primer because I didn't feel like I needed a ton of help in the color correcting department, and I have enjoyed this. I do think it is a very intense shine. I can swatch it for you guys. I think it's a very, because it's white, it's just such an icy sort of sheen or shimmer that it gives to the skin, and I find this one to be a little bit dry as well. As I rub it in, I just feel like it feels kind of dry on the skin. It does give a nice glow, and obviously usually I'm going in with like a foundation over it, so I think the glow is pretty. It just might be a little bit icy, especially like, I mean, my hand is self-tanned right now, but if you are much darker than my self-tan, I feel like it's going to look incredibly icy on you. And then it also has like a very interesting scent to it. The scent that or the description I want to give for it is it almost smells like dry sand. Like at first it smells really nice, but as you rub it in, it almost smells like dry, wet sand that's drying. I don't know how to describe it or why. That is like a scent memory that's stuck in my head. This isn't something I would repurchase, but it's not something that I would declutter either. But I am going to put this away because I have used this quite a few times and got some good use out of it. So then another item that was sent over from the brand through Octoly was this from Kevyn Aucoin. This is their foundation balm, and I got mine in the shade Light. This is what the shade looks like. It's a bit light for me right now, especially as I'm self-tanned. I have used this a few times, and what I will say off the bat, it is more of a matte formula, a little bit more matte than I prefer, and it is relatively full coverage. I would say like medium to full coverage. It's not something I feel like I would wear on an everyday basis, and I would have to go in, like my skincare routine would have to be on point for that day, and I would have to be wanting a more full coverage look. This isn't something that I would wear like every day to work just because I think it's too full coverage, and I would also want to pair this with a more hydrating primer just because it is more of a matte foundation, and my sweet spot is usually like a natural finish or even like a hint of radiance, natural glow type of thing. So I'm excited that I got to try this out. This is another one that I wouldn't repurchase, but it's not something that I dislike enough to like declutter it. It's just okay in my opinion. And if I didn't mention, I am going to put this away for the time being as well. Okay, let's get the Project Pan foundations out of the way. I have this Revlon Candid going in a project, hoping I can finish this one off this month as well and be done with it. I also have my Wander Beauty, which is going in a project, still chugging away on this, hoping that one day I will finish this. The L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear was just recently rolled into, I think it was my whole collection Project Pan, so this obviously will stay. And then I also have the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation that is going in a project. Now, I do have my Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer, which is not currently going in a project, but this is the tinted moisturizer that I am currently working on and reaching for when I'm reaching for a tinted moisturizer, because it's the oldest one in my collection. I know if I focus on this, I can finish this, and I just have so many foundations in my collection right now. I would like to work some products out. So even though I've been getting good use out of this and it's not in a project, I am going to keep this in rotation. And then I will be putting away my YSL Touche Clot All-in-One Glow. I have been using this as a mixer to help like darken some of my foundations, but I'm going to choose a different darker foundation because I have gotten some good use out of this. And then I also had my Dior Forever Skin Glow foundation pulled. I did get some good use out of this as well. I also use this as a mixer because it is a little bit deeper, and I am ready to put this back for a little bit. I do love this foundation though. So then moving on to this drawer, we have concealers and bronzers and powders. Again, a lot going in projects here. So the concealers and projects are my Josie Maron and Smashbox, so I'll keep those in. I've also been using my Tarte Shape Tape for my eyelids as an eyelid like primer, so I will also keep that. I got some decent use out of my Elsie Complete Silk Concealer, and this is a little bit light for me right now. I do love this concealer. I almost feel like I should pick up my summer shade, but I'm going to put this away for right now, and then I actually will keep... No, I'm going to put my Jouer concealer away as well. I got some good use out of this. This has been good for me right now because it does match me a little bit better than some of my lighter concealers, but I do have a darker concealer that I can pull in its place so I can continue to cycle through my collection a little bit better. My Milk Bronzing Stick in Baked, I'm going to keep. This is my only cream bronzer at the current moment, and I have really been enjoying cream products, so I'll keep that in. I can't remember. Yeah, this is officially in a project now. This is the Ciate London Everyday Vacay Coconut Setting Powder, so I will keep this in. I will put away my Glossier Wowder for the time being. I do like having this in rotation because it is like a little bit deeper than a translucent powder, whereas the Everyday Vacay powder is so stark white. But I have a different pressed powder I can pull if I want to set with something that's not so stark white / translucent. As far as bronzers are concerned, my Tarte bronzer is in a project, Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting in a project. My Balm Desert bronzer, again, shockingly enough, I had pulled this last rotation and then it randomly got selected in my whole collection Project Pan. So this is now currently in a project, so this will stay, meaning the only bronzer not in a project is my Marc Jacobs Tantastic. I used this a few times and I will be putting this back for the time being. Okay, in my bottom drawer, we have a lot of singles. We have my Cheekathon palette, which is going in a project. We have single in a project, single in a project. I like to just keep my Kaja trios here as a reminder to use them. So I'm going to keep these here. This ColourPop Super Shock shadow in the shade Party of 5, I still did not reach for, so I'm going to keep this. This Ace Beauté shadow is now currently going in a project. I also have my 2 Inglot gel liners in here. I have the shade 77, which is a black, and 94, which is a really beautiful champagne color. I have been getting back into gel liners, so I just kept these here to make it easy for me to reach for when I want to. And then I also have my ABH dip brow in here in case I ever want to reach for that. Everything just kind of nicely fits in here, so I'm going to keep all these things in here. And then I also have some of my tools and my Stilas over here. So I have my NYX glitter glue, This is from Model Co. It's one of their liquid shadows. I was going through all of my like makeup that I had set aside to like gift or give away or whatever, and I swatched this because my daughter like found it and wanted to play with it, and it actually looks really pretty, so I wanted to give it a try. So I'm going to leave this in this drawer for now and try this and see what I think. If I don't like it, I know my daughter will very much enjoy playing with this. I have my Stila Glitter and Glow in the shade Perlina. I like to just keep this here because I like to use this just to amp up a look when I feel like it. So this kind of permanently stays here. I still forgot to reach for the shade Embellish by Stila. This is a glitter and glow as well, so I will keep this in. And then my Wander Beauty Liquid Shadow is currently going in a project. So if it would focus. There we go. So this will stay as well. Okay, moving over to this side, top drawer, we have all of my blushes, which I have a ton right now, and I also have a ton going in projects. So these two Hourglass ones are going in projects. Tarte is in a project. Flower Beauty Blush Bombs in a project. I did use my Buxom Mykonos blush twice. This is a very, very intense coral shade. It's really, really pretty, but you do have to be careful, or I have to be careful with the intensity on this just because it can look a little bit crazy at times. I am ready to put this away probably until maybe mid-June. I'll pull it back out again. I've also been testing out this cream blush by Florence by Mills. This is in the shade Zen Z. I've really been enjoying this and gotten a ton of use out of this, but I do have a couple of cream and liquid blushes I would like to finish up because they are in projects. So I'm going to put this away for the time being. I would like to pick up more shades in this. This is a really nice formula, especially if you're more of a beginner in creams. It's just such an easy formula to work with, but I will put it away for now. I'm also going to put away my Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic blush. This is in the shade Pillow Talk Intense. Very beautiful. A little bit deep for me for this time of year. I like to go for a lighter blush, but I do think the blush formula is nice, and I could see myself picking up another maybe lighter shade in this formula in the future. I finally got quite a bit of use out of my Ilia multi-purpose stick. I have mine in the shade Dreamer, which is a really, really beautiful warm toned shade. This can kind of give you like that sunburn effect to the cheeks. I really enjoyed using this when I did like a reverse foundation style of makeup, and I could see myself again reaching for this a ton this summer, but I would like to just bunker down and focus on some of the current cream products I have going in my projects, and when I finish some of those, then I will circle back to this product. This is another one where I would definitely consider purchasing more shades in this, and they also have a liquid blush formula that I'm interested in trying. So I did enjoy this one from Ilia. I think that I prefer the Milk cream blush sticks. I think that that formula is just slightly easier to work with, but I still did like this one from Ilia. Okay, this one from Becca, Flower Child, I didn't reach for one time, so this will stay in. This is a favorite of mine. I just sort of forgot about this. I did reach for this one from ColourPop actually quite a bit. This is such a beautiful blush. If you are just looking for a light, neutral peachy shade, this is in the shade Fresh and Peachy. I would love to keep this in for another rotation, but I do have a huge blush collection, and I need to be better about cycling through it, so I will put this away for now. I only reached for my Ciate blush once. This is in the shade Date Night. This looks deeper in the pan, but on the skin, it's actually a really beautiful shade. It kind of reminds me of the shade from Ilia a little bit, but a little bit lighter. I am going to keep this in for another rotation just so I can reach for it a little bit more. I have kept my Hourglass Ghost Quad in here because I like, anytime I go a little too heavy-handed with my blush, I like reaching into this up here in the shade Brilliant Nude. Even though I've used this so much this year, I do kind of just want to keep this permanently in here in case I need to reach into this shade. And I think this pink shade could be really, really pretty right now, even though it's like a hot, not like a hot, but a bright bubblegum pink. I don't know, I just kind of feel like reaching for that. So I'm going to keep this in. And then my Milk And then my Milk Stick in Work is still going in a project, so this will stay, as well as my Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Wand in the shade Peachgasm, so this will stay as well. Moving down here into my highlight drawer, again, I have quite a few highlights currently going in projects. Mary Lou, the Lancome palette, my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, my Becca, all going in projects. I did not reach for my Artist Couture, neither of them. I have Cocoa Bling and Summer Haze, so I would like to keep these in rotation. I did reach for my Dior highlighter in the shade 1 quite a bit. This is a really beautiful nude champagne shade, so I am ready to put this back. I also used Dose of Colors and I Love Sarah E in Bathe a couple of times, so I can put this away. This is a really intense highlighter, but I do love this one. And then I also reached for my Persona highlight a couple of times. This is in the shade Zuma. This does not work for me when I am fair, but it is beautiful in the summertime, especially if you have like a beautiful golden glow. But I'm going to put this away, and I'm sure I'll pull this back out mid-June or July. And then finally we have my bottom drawer. So this Tarte Clay Play one has been going for quite some time, and I finally feel like I've gotten a good amount of use on this, so I'm ready to put this back. I did not reach for MAC Hyper Real Glow once, so this will stay, nor did I reach for my ABH Sun Dipped Glow Kit, so I'll keep this in. And then I have all of my open mascaras. My two favorites right now, or not my two faves necessarily, but the two that I've been reaching for the most are Ciate Wonder Wand and the Milk Kush mascara. I do love Milk Kush. The Ciate Wonder Wand, is okay. I am currently working on this in a project. This is a really wet formula, so I've liked it more as it's dried out, but this is almost gone too, so I feel like I'm trying to use it up, and will be excited to finish this. And then I also just always love my L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black. But that is it for everything. Oh yeah, and then my lips. So I'll show you all the lip products that I was able to use. So I have them all in this cup right here. I have a ton, because some days I would use multiple lip products at once, obviously. So I have my Patrick Ta lip gloss in the shade Is She Young? In the shade Is She Younger Than Me? This is really, really pretty. I would say it's very similar to the shade Fireball by Urban Decay. I also used my IT Cosmetics Je ne sais quoi like lip gloss product. I actually really enjoyed this, and I'm going to stick this back in my drawer of lip products I want to use again. I used the Maybelline 24 Hour Stay Color in the shade 230 Absolute Taupe. This is a really, really pretty nude shade. I actually really love this. And I kind of want to reach for this again too, so I'm going to put this back in my drawer. I did use my YSL lip stain in the shade 22. This is a really beautiful coral shade. I really, really like this for the summertime. I'll put this away for right now, but I'm sure I will grab for it again in the coming months. And speaking of colors like that, I also finally got some use out of my Lime Crime liquid lipstick in the shade True Love, which is a really beautiful bright coral as well. I really enjoyed this one. I'm going to put it back, but I'm sure I'll be reaching for this one again very soon. I did use my Kylie lip pencil in the shade Malibu. I actually really like this as more of like a cool toned lip pencil. I'm going to put this back in my drawer of lip products to use. Let's see, ColourPop Ultra Blotted Lip in the shade Zuma. This is really, really pretty, but I will put this back. I also reached for my Persona lip gloss in the shade Peach. I do love the Persona lip gloss. I think I'm going to put this back in my drawer to use. I can't remember when I reached for this Tarte one, but this is in the shade Mermaid. I guess I reached for this because it's in my cup. And then also the Tarte H2O Gloss in the shade Zipline, which is this really pretty peach shade. These are pretty opaque, so this does come across as very peachy. I love the Tarte H2O Gloss. I really like a lot from the Tarte H2O line, but I am ready to put both of these back. I recently picked up, I wanted like a bright pink shade. I don't know why, but this is in the shade 75 Undress Pink from Maybelline. So I'm going to put this back in my drawer to use as well, because I only used that one time. I also reached for my Flower Beauty Peachy Nude lipstick. The Flower Beauty lipsticks are really, really nice, and that's a really, really nice shade as well. I really like this one. I am going to put this back, but I could see myself reaching for this one again very soon. I also used my Kylie gloss in the shade So Cute. I reached for this Buxom gloss in the shade Sandy. As you can tell, like, I've gotten some good use out of this. I think I might just stick this right here and try and unofficially use that up. I did also reach for tons of corals. I reached for this one from Buxom. This is in the shade Coral Confession. I'd been really into corals, as you can tell, and this is an older lipstick in my collection, but still performs really well and looks like, doesn't make me nervous to use it. So I could see myself reaching for that. I don't know, I feel like I'm going to be reaching for corally pink shades quite a bit this summer. And then I also reached for this Buxom lip gloss, which is in the shade Erica. And after that, those are all of the lip products. Nope, I still have this one. So this I had gotten, I can't remember, probably like a Point Perk. This is from Girl On, and this is like this really pretty, again, orangey coral shade in the shade Kiss Kiss. Really nice creamy formula. I'll put this away for right now, but again, I could see myself using this a ton this summer. And after that, those are all my lip products. So now we can finally go shop my stash. Scratch that. I forgot I've also been pulling palettes to focus on as well. Okay, so let's see what we have. We have the Urban Decay Born to Run I pulled. I am going to keep this pulled. I only reached for this a couple of times, but I reached for more of the colorful shades and had a ton of fun with this. Not quite ready to put this back yet. I feel like I can create some really fun summer looks with this and then also play around with some of the deeper shades. So I'm going to keep this pulled. Dose of Colors Friendcation, I also think I only reached for one time. I didn't do my makeup a ton the last couple of weeks, so I want to keep this pulled as well. My ABH Jackie palette I actually did reach into quite a bit, so I am ready to put this one back for a little bit. Then I also had my Natasha Denona Lila palette, which I absolutely love, but this is just a little bit deeper than I'm wanting to continue to work with right now, so I will put this away for right now. And then I had also curated a palette of shimmer shades just to kind of add as pops of color, etc. to looks, and I didn't reach into this one time, so shame on me, but we're just going to keep the same curation of shimmer shades for the time being. Okay, now I feel like we are officially ready to shop my stash. It's always a tight space because my drawers are in my closet, so I apologize if this setup sucks a little bit. Okay, I think I'm gonna only choose one foundation and one primer to work on just because I already have so many things I'm working on in projects. So for foundation, you can't even see it, but I'm going to grab my Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. This I have in more of my summer shades, so I feel like this will be a good mixing foundation. And then for my primer, I'm going to, I know I recently grabbed for this as well, but I'm going to grab the Origins Original Skin Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer with Willow Herb because I have heard this goes bad relatively quickly. I want to make sure I am actively working on this to finish this up this year. I purchased this around November or December last year, so I don't want this to go bad on me. I want to finish this up. Then we're going to call it good for this drawer, and we are going to move into my powder and concealer drawer. So I said I wanted a darker concealer that will help kind of match some of my other concealers. This one from Juvia's Place, one of my favorites. I have it in shade 19. It's like my perfect skin tone match, even maybe a shade deeper or two when I'm at my fairest. So I feel like this will be a really good one right now. And I haven't reached for this one in a little bit. So I will pull this, and then for powder, I'm going to pull my Hourglass. It's been a long time since I've used my Hourglass powder, and this is my favorite powder ever. And then I'm also going to grab my Bite Beauty Changemaker powder for a pressed powder. I really enjoy this, and this can help kind of darken the skin a little bit. Like it's in shade Light 1, which is probably the lightest shade, but it's not a white translucent powder. So those will be it for this drawer. Moving on to my bronzer drawer. Oh boy. I feel overwhelmed with bronzer right now too. I think I'm going to go with... what do I want to reach for? I think I'll grab my Lawless bronzer. This is one that is not my favorite bronzer, but I've been learning to like it a little bit better. So I will pull this and get some use out of it. All right, here is my blush drawer. For blush, it's been a while since I have pulled my Jouer blush bouquet in Adore Me. Sorry, it's just Adore, not Adore Me. So I will pull this. This is very neutral, very easy to work with. And I don't want to overwhelm myself with blush because, again, I'm working on so much right now. So I think maybe I will just pull this one for right now and really focus on some of my Project Pan blushes, especially the ones that I have more number usage on, and get those out of my collection. Maybe if I really want a glowy cheek, I will also pull MAC Fairly Precious as well, and we'll call it good for blush. Okay, so for highlight, oh boy. What do I want to pull for highlight, you guys? Ooh, it's been a while since I've reached for Benefit Cookie, so maybe I will grab this. And then I actually I really want to pull for this really cute Fenty Beauty mini in the shade Tan Lines. I actually have this in the like duo as well, but I want to see if I can make this work for my skin. I'm fearful it might be a little bit too dark, but I'll pull this in Cookie, and then I always have the other blushes I'm working on in projects that I can focus on as well. Okay, the next drawer down is face palettes, and I do still have the MAC Hyper Real Glow for highlight, and then I also have the Sun Dipped Glow Kit, but I was thinking to myself that I really wanted to pull the Becca Après Ski Glow Palette, and even though this was a winter release, I feel like this would work better for me in the summertime, just based on the shades. So I'm going to pull this, and we will call it good. Actually, I want to pull this one. I want to pull this one from MAC. I just don't think this is a very good face palette. I think the powders in here kind of suck. So I'm going to give it one more chance. And if I don't like it, I'm thinking about just taking these shades out so that I can just keep the packaging and use the packaging for something else. Because, I mean, you can't deny the beauty of this packaging. But yeah, I just feel like these are really suck. But maybe if I give it one more chance, I can learn to love it. The next drawer down is singles, pigments, etc. I'm not going to pull anything new out of this drawer because I'm already struggling to use what I have pulled from the last rotations in this drawer. Okay, tried to get my light in here a little bit better. This drawer is just mascara and liner. I don't need any new mascara, and you guys know I just grab for liner as I see it fit with my looks, so I never necessarily grab liner out of here. And then my last drawer is my new drawer. I have a few new things from BoxyCharm from last month, and a couple, I think that's it. But I'm still waiting on my BoxyCharm for the month of May, obviously. The only thing that I know I really want to pull is I actually think I want to pull the Iconic Illuminator and see what the hype is all about with this. And then I want to pull this from Nude Sticks. It's their Magnetic Lip Plush Paints. I feel like Kathleen Lights was possibly raving about these when they first released last year, and I almost bought one, but I feel like they're like $28, so I thought they were really expensive. I could be wrong. Maybe it was a different brand and a different product, but this is in the shade Wakiki Rose, and I'm really interested to try these out. So I think that's all I'm going to grab from this drawer. And actually, I'm really interested to try out this little highlight from Jouer. This is in the shade Skinny Dip. How cute is it? This little mini. I got it in the like one of the Sephora favorite sets, and I just think it's adorable. It looks like it's going to be a really, really beautiful like champagne shade. So I'm going to pull this as well, and then we will call it good for this drawer. Alright, you guys, I pulled a handful of lip products to use. I have some glosses. I have some liquid lipsticks. I have, I'm just going to put these all in my drawer, and then I'll share them with you next time as I use them. I feel like that's the easiest for lips. And then I just have two palettes I'm going to pull as complimentary palettes to add to my drawers. I'm going to pull the Carly Bible palette. It's been a while since I have reached for this, and it's been a while since I've reached for this one, and I've been like looking up on Pinterest like looks to do with this one, and I've seen some really pretty ones. So I'm going to pull this, and then it feels like a good time of year to also pull my Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam palette. You guys know this is not a favorite palette of mine, but I do love that green Wanderlust shade, and I can do some neutral looks with the browns with this. So I'll pull these two palettes, and then we should be good. All right, you guys, and then there we have it. New full drawers yet again for another 2 weeks. I'm really excited to play around with all of the products that I selected today. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what products you are excited to be using the next couple of weeks. Maybe you have new products in your collection. Maybe you are just recycling some old ones. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye, you guys.